Okay, let's just dive right in. We love to think of ourselves as these independent, self-sufficient people. But honestly, that's mostly an illusion. The hidden reality of our lives, from the very phone in your hand to the food on your plate, is this vast, invisible web of interdependence. Today, we're going to try to see that web.
So, let's start with this quote from way back in 1958. At first glance, it sounds kind of absurd, right? I mean, a pencil. It's one of the most basic things you can imagine. But just take a second and really think about it. Could you personally make one totally from scratch?
If no single person on the entire planet knows how to make one, then who does? What's the secret to creating this super simple everyday object?
And here is the beautiful, mind-bending paradox. A single, humble pencil needs the coordinated efforts of literally thousands of specialists who don't even know each other exist. You've got loggers in Oregon, graphite miners in Sri Lanka, chemists mixing the perfect yellow paint, shippers crossing entire oceans. None of them are thinking, I'm making a pencil today. They're just doing their one specialized job. But all that work connects in this amazing, emergent dance.
This right here, this is interdependence. It is the engine of our entire modern world. The more specialized we all become, as people, as companies, as whole countries, the more we have to rely on each other. And it's a real double-edged sword that creates both incredible opportunity and shocking fragility.
So, let's start with the magic. What amazing things does this web of reliance actually make possible for us?
Well, the benefits are just immense. Specialization creates this explosion of new opportunities. It massively lowers costs, which makes things that used to be luxuries totally abundant. It creates synergy, where the whole thing is way greater than the sum of its parts. And maybe the most important one, it creates a really powerful incentive for peace.
This logic is just so powerful when you think about it. Economic interdependence basically makes huge conflicts a form of self-harm. When our supply chains and our economies are all tangled up, hurting your trading partner just means you're disrupting your own access to stuff you desperately need. It's a powerful disincentive for war, even if it's not perfect. But, and this is a big but, every connection that gives us a benefit also carries a risk. So let's flip the coin and look at the fragility that's baked right into this web we've all built.
And to understand this fragility, we don't need some hypothetical scenario. Oh no. We have a perfect, dramatic, real-world example from Japan back in 2007. And it all starts with a tiny, essential car part, the piston ring.
Just look at how fast this all happened. Day 1, a major earthquake hits. Day 2, a single key supplier, Riken, has to shut down its factory. And by day 3, because the entire Japanese auto industry was built on this just-in-time model of super efficiency with zero extra inventory, assembly lines just stopped. They ground to a halt. The failure of one tiny, single part shut down a global industry almost overnight.
This quote from Shane Parrish just sums it up perfectly. The system was designed for maximum efficiency, which is fantastic when everything is going right, but that very same efficiency created zero resilience, which meant a single point of failure could trigger this catastrophic, cascading shutdown.
The really crucial thing to understand here is the shape of the network. The Japanese auto supply chain was a classic hub-and-spoke system, with Riken as the central hub. It's super efficient, right? But if you knock out that hub, the whole thing just collapses. The alternative is what's called a mesh network, where everyone is connected to multiple others. It might be a little less efficient, but guess what? It has no single point of failure.
So this all raises a really fascinating question. If we can see these fragile structures, can we actually be more intentional about them? Can we design better, more resilient webs?
That Riken supply chain, that's a perfect example of emergent interdependence. It wasn't really designed for resilience, it just kind of grew that way because everyone was chasing efficiency. But there's another kind, deliberate interdependence, where a system is intentionally and thoughtfully designed to be strong and cohesive from the start. And for a masterclass in how to do this, we can actually look to the ancient wisdom of the Juam people of the Kalahari. For them, living in an environment of extreme scarcity, a resilient social network wasn't just a nice idea, it was literally the difference between life and death.
Their system design was absolutely brilliant. To make sure power was distributed, the owner of the arrow, not the hunter who made the kill, was the one who shared the meat. They had a gift network called Xaro that built long-term trust and obligations. And crucially, they used a mesh network. Each person had about 15 partners, so there was no single point of failure. They knew this took work too, and they would invest months every year just maintaining these bonds.
At the end of the day, For the Jua, their most valuable asset wasn't a tool or a skill. It was their network, the goodwill and the trust they built within their community. That was their social insurance policy, their ultimate safety net.
Okay, so let's make this personal. We can take these huge ideas, hub-and-spoke networks, single points of failure, resilience, and actually apply them to our own lives with a quick little interdependence audit. First up, your finances. How many sources of income do you depend on? If it's just one employer, one job, well, that's a classic hub-and-spoke model, where your job is the hub. A layoff could become your own personal recon disaster. Now, think about your support network, your friends, your family. Who are the people you can truly count on in a crisis? And here's the key question. Do they rely on each other? Are you the hub connecting friends who don't know one another? Or is your network a mesh where your friends support each other too? A mesh is so much more resilient.
And finally, think about your career. Is your expertise incredibly specialized? I mean, that can be very lucrative. But if that one industry or that one company or that one technology disappears, your value might just disappear with it. How portable are your skills, really?
And this brings us to the most important takeaway of all. We can't opt out of this. We are all, whether we like it or not, deeply tangled up in these webs. Interdependence isn't a choice. It's just the fundamental operating system of the modern world.
So the real power isn't in trying to become some mythical, self-sufficient island. That's impossible. The real power is in recognizing that you have a choice. You can just let your dependencies happen by accident, optimized for short-term efficiency but super fragile, or you can be deliberate, like the Jurawa, and intentionally design them for resilience, for trust, and for strength.
So, I'll just leave you with this question. Take an honest look at your own life, your career, your relationships, your finances. Are you building a fragile web of hubs or a resilient mesh? What does your web actually look like?